Good afternoon, boys and girls. I hope you've had a good day. Kind of started out as kind of a cool, kind of frosty day, but it kind of warmed up some. And so I've enjoyed this past week as we've been able to share the story of Benjamin's box and the different pieces that he's been putting in his treasure box, and also maybe some things that you're able to put in your resurrection eggs as you tell the Easter story. And so, two more things that we'll talk about today. One, of course, is a stone that was over the tomb, and of course, was rolled away. And so you can just find a rock there in your driveway or out in the yard or something like that. Put in your box. And we've got one more, and I'll show you here in a minute after we finish the story here. Early the next morning, Benjamin went to the market for his mother. He used to enjoy the crowds in the city, but now they only reminded him of how everyone had turned against Jesus. He shuffled along without looking up. "It's a miracle!" shrieked a girl. Benjamin stopped in his tracks and listened. "Jesus is risen from the dead. The stone has been moved." Benjamin turned and ran from the market and up toward the tomb. Could it possibly be true? Could Jesus have risen from the grave? In his heart he believed it could be. It must be. He ran even faster. Sure enough, the stone was rolled away. He fell to his knees and thanked God. When he stood, he picked up a sharp piece of broken rock. It must have crumbled from the huge stone. With a joyful heart, he marched back down to town. Jesus was alive. In the market, he met a woman who was a friend of Jesus. "I know the good news," he said. "Jesus is alive." "Yes," she smiled. "It is the prophet said, on the third day he'll rise. Some of us have even seen him." Benjamin ran home and told his parents. He placed the stone in the box. What a treasure he had now. During the next few days, Benjamin and Eli listened as disciples shared about Jesus had appeared to them in various places. Jesus said that all this came to pass so forgiveness could be preached to all the nations, beginning right here in Jerusalem, explained a disciple. He said that since we all see things now, we can go out and tell others the good news of his forgiveness. Benjamin smiled. Now he understood that Jesus had forgiven him too, and he wanted to share the good news. He ran home and got his treasure box and went out to the streets and gathered all of his friends. "Inside this box," he explained, "is a great treasure." The children drew closer and listened with excitement. One by one, Benjamin took out each item. He explained how he got it and what it all meant. "And so you see," he said. He closed the box and looked at them in their faces. "The treasure is really Jesus. Because of what Jesus did on the cross, we can be forgiven by God and the Father." They all cheered and begged him to share the story again. And so the last piece, the last part of the egg or whatever, is you have your egg and you open it up, and of course it's empty. Represents the empty tomb that Jesus has risen from the grave. And so just as Benjamin took these treasures out of his box, and he was able to share them with his friends. And so that's the story that we can share here, the Easter story, that if you made your resurrection eggs, I invite you to share it with others. Maybe you'll gather with some other family tomorrow for maybe for lunch or together, or maybe there's something that you want to keep as you gather with other friends. Maybe later on, even you don't have to just tell the Easter story. The good news of Jesus Christ is not just to be told at Easter, but it's every day that we share the good news of Jesus Christ and what He's done for us, His death and resurrection on this Easter season. So I encourage you, if you've made this box, or just as you thought about the story, that's what we're to do. It's a good thing to hear, but it's more importantly we put into action, that we take these words that's written in the Scripture that tells about Jesus' story, especially this last week of His life, as He entered that Jerusalem on that Palm Sunday, and throughout the week as He was betrayed and put on trial and beaten and put on a cross and was crucified on that cross, put in that grave. But then we can celebrate that on the third day He did rise again, just as He had promised He would. And so I want to encourage you as children and parents to be able to share that Easter story throughout the year. Share the good news of Jesus Christ and His love for us. Again, I appreciate you. Hopefully you had a chance to look at all the sessions here. And so it's been my pleasure. Hated that we couldn't do this in person, but grateful that I've been able to at least do this on video, and look forward to the coming weeks when we're all back together at church for Awana and Sunday school and RAs and GAs, things like that. But I look forward to meeting and being back together with you. So, again, I hope you have a great evening and happy Easter. I look forward to celebrating with you online tomorrow at church together. Thanks. Have a good night.